Hi, I'm Massimo, Dev Advocate at Subsquid, a framework and toolkit for building custom ETLs and GraphQL APIs for blockchain data. For those who don't know, an indexing middleware allows you to easily access on-chain data by ingesting it and storing it in a more structured manner. On top of that, Subsquid provides you with a framework for customizing the transformation you want to apply to this data. We are a multi-chain tool, and we are glad to have joined the Fantom ecosystem. We like Fantom because it provides fast transaction with a very quick finality and low gas fees. It is highly interoperable thanks to its EVM core, and there are a lot of good programs that financially incentivize developers and new projects. But let me show you how our SDK works first. Here I have a fully finished project that I have built over the past couple of days. It indexes ERC721 tokens produced by the Rave Domains project. Now let me launch it real quick. I have configured my code to connect to Subsquid archive for Fantom and request the data for the smart contract of Rave Domains. And then I have specified that I'm interested in the register name and transaction event. Finally, I have used one optimization tool, which is the multi-call contract, to request the metadata of multiple tokens at the same time. I'm then processing this information in batches, and this is one of the performance enhancements of Subsquid in comparison to similar tools. I want to stress the fact that I'm running all of this on my machine. This way, it's easier to iterate, test things, make mistakes, and fix them. When I am ready, I can use Subsquid hosted service to deploy my project and provide a publicly available API. Another thing I want to show you while this is indexing is the ability to start your own GraphQL server locally and test things for yourself. As you can see, I have a server running on localhost at port 4350, and I can go to the browser to this address. And here I have my GraphQL playground where I can query and test my data. Let's talk about how this works. Processing blockchain data, or any kind of data, is generally a sequential procedure, often called a pipeline. This is usually segmented into multiple stages, and some of these can look the same for different use cases. Some can actually be very different. In the case of blockchain data processing, the ingestion stage is always the same, as data is stored in sequential blocks. A typical approach by other projects so far has been to produce monolith indexers, where the ingestion stage is repeated for every single project indexing the same blockchain. This leads to duplicated and wasted effort. Subsquid has introduced a shared service in charge of this, and we called it archives. These are services connected to blockchain nodes that extract and normalize blockchain data and make it available via a web service. This has proven to yield better performance, not only thanks to a better storage, more suited for this kind of task, but also because it offers the ability to filter and query in batches. On the other hand, you should not be concerned about archives that much, because developers are actually going to use Subsquid software development kit to build squids. These are extract, transform, load, or ETL projects that are fully customizable and can present data via a GraphQL API. Subsquid has focused on trying to make things easier for developers by introducing automation tools, as well as using Typescript to reduce bugs and errors thanks to its type safety and the simple fact that the data transformation is coded, not written in a YAML configuration file. We also want to make devs' lives easier by providing them with a free hosting service for their project and the API. Let me show you a couple of snippets to give you some examples. Thanks to Subsquid's SDK, you can define your schema, and this will be applied automatically to your database as well as your API. And our command line tool will automatically generate Typescript code to model your schema into Typescript classes. Next, you are able to import your contract API in the form of a JSON file. And once again, our command line tools will automatically generate TypeScript code that is able to interface and communicate with your on-chain contract. You can also use these TypeScript interfaces to decode your transactions or events And finally, like I said, we want to provide developers with everything they need to thrive and be successful. And in order to do so, we have created Aquarium, a free hosting service where you can deploy your projects and have your public APIs available in no time. But let me actually show you how to get started. Now, if I want to start from scratch and create a new project, here I still have the previous project running, so I just have to stop it and tear down the database container by running docker compose down. And creating a new one, it's easy enough as going into a different directory and running sqd init and provide a name for the new project. Let's just say my Fantom project. Now it's asking me which template I want to start my project with, and I have multiple options. Because Fantom is an EVM blockchain, I can choose the first one, or I can also use the Gravatar example to get me on the right track. The Gravatar example is a minimal project indexing Gravatar smart contract on Ethereum. I can simply switch the archive and it should be good to go except for the contract address. But let's start from a very basic template of an EVM blockchain. Now it has created one. I can just cd into the folder, and I want to first install the dependencies, and I want to also open it on my IDE. So now that I have it here, the basic template starts with a very almost empty schema with a fake entity called my entity. And in the processor file, the processor class is configured to connect to Ethereum archive, but I can simply change it to Fantom really quickly. And what this is doing is it's expressing interest for every transaction of the black hole address. So every time anything is sent to the black hole address, and it's starting from a certain range, and it's requesting certain data. And then it's launching the processor by launching the run function. And for every batch of transaction it receives from the archive, it's simply looping through them and logging something. We can easily change all of this to transform the data however we want to. And if you want to take it from here and create your own custom project, this is a useful list of resources. You can head over to the docs website and read more about what you can do with Subsquid SDK. And you can visit and browse the source code of our SDK, as well as many example repository in our Subsquid organization on GitHub. And I have personally curated a playlist of useful educational material, which we called Subsquid Academy. You can head over to YouTube and watch the videos, which are also present on Medium as articles. And finally, if you want to ask for help and chat with other devs regarding your project, you can head over to Discord or Telegram. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope Subsquid will be helpful to you in your blockchain projects. And don't hesitate to contact us on any of this channel. We'll be glad to help.